Hello, and welcome back to the Garifuna Experience Podcast. I'm your host, Jose Francisco Avila. And as we continue our celebration of Hispanic Heritage Month, we are diving into the remarkable life of a man credited with documenting the first century of Honduras' independence, Catarino Castro Serrano. Born on April 30th, 1892, in Trujillo, Colón, Honduras, Don Catarino was a man of Garifuna descent, whose parents were Jacinto Cacho and Martha Lalín Serrano. He led an incredibly productive life as a journalist, philosopher, and politician, leaving a significant mark on Honduran thought. He was the first person of his ethnic group to serve in the Honduran, holding a seat as a member of the Honduras Congress from 1926 to 1930, and was widely considered the first Honduran Garifuna intellectual. He was also a passionate and combative writer, part of the Renewal Group of 1925, which advocated for new ways of thinking in Central America. In 1921, to celebrate the centennial of Honduras' independence, he wrote his first transcendental work, Honduras in the First Century, Our Political, Diplomatic, Military, and Cultural Life on the First 100 Years, 1821 to 1921, which served as a source of information for many Honduran students and intellectuals. A Forgotten Legacy Rediscovered. After studying at the National Institute of Tegucigalpa, where he earned a degree as a commercial expert and public accountant, Catarino became deeply involved in culture and public administration. He directed several publications and was instrumental in founding the Espíritu del Siglo, or the Spirit of the Century Institute, in his native Trujillo in 1930. He dedicated his life to journalism and philosophical thought until he died on January 10, 1939. For many years, much of the primary documentation on Catarino was vague, making him a somewhat forgotten figure in Honduran collective memory. His life was primarily known through his work and a few fragmented references, but that all started to change. In 2021, while researching for the bicentennial of Honduras' independence, I was struck by the absence of the author of a book that so perfectly detailed the first century of that very independence. I realized that a man who had made such a significant contribution was missing from the official commemorations. Then I was pleasantly surprised to receive a message from Miguel Rodriguez, a historian from the National Autonomous University of Honduras, with instructions from the General Coordinator of the Bicentennial of the Independence of Honduras. I would like to greet you while congratulating you for your noble work to disseminate and promote Garifuna culture in the United States. He sent me 2 articles and shared that as a result of my work, they will publish a new biography of Catarino Castro Serrano. I was overjoyed. My hope for his recognition was becoming a reality. I recently found the promised biography, Biographical Approach to Catarino Castro Serrano, Honduran Garifuna Intellectual, published in the January to December 2022 edition of Cuadernos de Historia de Honduras, published by the National Autonomous University of Honduras. This document allowed me to update my own research and confirm that the bicentennial had prompted a reevaluation of figures like Catarino Castro Serrano, finally giving him the spotlight he deserved. The philosopher, On September 27, 1925, Catarino Castro Serrano gave a lecture on transcendental knowledge, proposing a new ideological orientation for humanity. He believed that the moral and spiritual disaster in modern society will be cured by a synthesis of philosophy, science, and religion. This was a direct counterproposal to the prevailing scientific materialism and traditional spiritualism. Rooted in Eastern and Western occultism, theosophy, and spiritism, defined much of his intellectual career. During a time when Honduran society was dominated by a positivist and materialist vision, Catarino was an outspoken voice of a different way of thinking. He became a leading figure in the Honduran theosophical movement, serving as a deputy director of the magazine Nuevos Horizontes, or New Horizons, a publication that explored occultism, high spiritualism, theosophy, science, and homeland. As the president of the Subirana Lodge, he became the primary representative of this ideology in the country. The politician, a Congress representative for Colón. Catarino's political life was defined by his term as a Congress representative for the Department of Colón from 1926 to 1930. During this time in Parliament, he used his intellectual and moral ideas to analyze and debate various bills. He particularly focused on issues affecting the North Coast, such as foreign company concessions, public health, educational subsidies, and labor rights. His most notable achievement was his effort to secure a government subsidy for the Spirit of the Century Institute in Trujillo. In a telegram from Tegucigalpa, he announced that the National Congress had decreed a 300 peso monthly subsidy for the new institution. After his term, Catarino sought re-election in the 1930s, but was unsuccessful, though he continued his journalistic work. He also became the first Garifuna principal to lead the Spirit of the Century Institute. The historian, A Voice for a Nation. At just 29, Catarino had already published his major historical work, Honduras in the First Century, and built an extensive journalistic career. The book itself is a unique document, a response to the centennial of Central American independence in 1921. Catarino's work stands out because he proposed a bold thesis that in the first 100 years of independence, Honduras had failed to resolve any of its fundamental problems. His book is a fascinating profile of the country, touching on everything from social and political issues to cultural and economic ones. He dared to go beyond official history, narrating significant events not just of the state, but also of the daily life of the people. While he was a proud Garifuna man, his book focuses on the Honduran people, describing them as intelligent and understanding, and attributes their misfortunes to criminal and petulant caudillismo. This book is more than just a history. It's also a kind of sociology and anthropology of the Honduran people. It's filled with popular sayings and even includes political caricatures by artist Augusto Monterroso. Catarino's work is a testament to his universal vision, where he even analyzes Yankee imperialism and argues that Latin America, the South, is not an enemy of the North, the United States of America. It's truly a remarkable work from a remarkable man. Catarino Castro's book and his life's work are a powerful reminder of the contributions Garifuna and Afro-descendant people in the history and intellectual life of Central America. Honors: the Catarino Castro Serrano Kindergarten School in Cusuna, Iriona, Colón is named in his honor. And that wraps up another illuminating episode of the Garifuna Experience Podcast. Thank you for joining us on this journey to uncover the story of Catarino Castro Serrano. It's a reminder of the powerful contributions of Garifuna and Afro-descendant people to the history and intellectual life of Central America. Thank you for listening, and remember, the future of the Garifuna people is in our hands. Stay united, stay proud. Sungube Lida Aba. Ayo. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, rate, and review the Garifuna Experience Podcast wherever you listen. Your support helps us share our vital stories and culture with even more people around the world. Thank you.